Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Welcome inside Globe Life Park here in Arlington, Texas. And last night was the third coldest game they've ever played here in Arlington. You see 3.3 degrees Celsius in April 7th of 17 a year ago. And last night it was 5.6. And at the start of play today, 12 degrees of virtual heat wave here in Arlington. But the fans are still bundled up, and a lot of Blue Jay fans, as always, in attendance here to see the Blue Jays play on the road. And they're anxious to see this team make some adjustments against the pitcher, Cole Hamels.
And I think they have to. Maybe you can chalk that one up last night to the cold weather. The hitter's not really feeling comfortable against Mike Minor, but you're going to get the same type of pitcher this afternoon in Cole Hamels. Maybe he doesn't throw as hard as Mike Minor was throwing last night, but you see the same kind of cutter and the sinker and the changeup. Minor, it was really interesting, was throwing more changeups because he couldn't get a grip on the fastball last night.
Marcus Stroman as well, the starter for the Blue Jays, had trouble with his grip. He actually threw more balls than strikes in his outing last night, and it was certainly not typical. Marcus Stroman. Cole Hamels is set to take the mound. Boy, he's been racking up the strikeouts so far for Hamels this year. 18 strikeouts in 10 2/3 in his two previous starts. He's got a new wrinkle in his approach pattern. He's developed a cutter slider that's very effective.
Yeah, the old Cole Hamels was fastball, cutter, curveball. The new one, he'll two-seam it now. He'll throw a changeup, a lot of changeup in that last start, and an actual slider that he's getting a lot of swing and miss with.
Well, the Blue Jays need to do a little bit better than they did last night with the bats. They scored 1 run on 2 hits against Texas. This is the rubber match, and today Justin Smoke in that third spot. He's been hot. His last 7 games, Smokey's hit 400 with 4 extra base hits. Excuse me. He's got 2 doubles and 2 home runs. Kendrys Morales has a home run against Cole Hamels. That came a long time ago, 2014, when Morales was with the Seattle Mariners and Hamels was with the Phillies. But Cole Hamels has never beaten the Blue Jays in his career.
That's right. He is. Blue Jays have really handled Hamels in the regular season. He's 0-2 in his career with an ERA close to 7 against the Blue Jays. 0-4 the team has been when he takes the mound against the Blue Jays. He's 34 years old, making his 3rd start of the season. He took the loss on opening day. That was against Houston. Didn't pitch too poorly against the world champs, but did not win that ball game. 11 strikeouts in his last start. That was against Oakland. He did all of that damage in 5 innings against Oakland. In fact, he struck out the first 7 batters for outs were recorded as strikeouts in that game against Oakland. Trying to get on the win board this afternoon against the Blue Jays.
A couple of changes defensively for Texas here. Carlos Tochi is in center field. Makes his first start of the series. Sim-Shu Chu is in right, and third base is the veteran Gold Glover.
Had the day off yesterday on his birthday, his 39th birthday. Did not play in last night's ball game. Back out there this afternoon. 5-time Gold Glove winner, and it's just a pleasure to watch him play the game. Should be busy this afternoon if Cole Hamels is throwing that sinker changeup early and keeping it down. Should get a lot of ground ball outs.
Kendrys Morales is the only hitter in the lineup that has hit a home run against Cole Hamels. Steve Pearce hit a home run last night, his first of the season.
Very good approach by Pearce. Not a lot of movement with the lower body, so he just uses his hands and he stays inside that ball. If you go around that ball is going to be just a foul ball down the left field line. Stay right with it. Hit 13 home runs last season. That's number 1. Getting some extended playing time now against these left-handed pitchers.
Hamels jumps on the first pitch. This ball's going to go. Stay fair, ball. Stay fair. It is a home run. First pitch of the ball game. Steve Pearce hits his 2nd home run, and just like that, the Blue Jays are out in front.
See, that's why we showed that home run from last night, because we knew he was going to hit the first pitch of the ball game out of here. Hamels might not be throwing as hard as he has in the past, but he still has some tricks up his sleeve. That time it looked like he was just trying to get the ball over for strike 1, and Steve Pearce was waiting for it.
Great start for the Blue Jays, and Pearce, he is homered now in back-to-back games. And you're right, the consistency of at-bats because of the left-handed starters has helped Pearce. So here's Josh Donaldson. 1 pitch, and the Blue Jays lead it 1-0. There's a strike to Donaldson.
Third straight game against the lefty. Ball was up and center cut over the middle of the plate. And I'll tell you what, don't let too many of those go by, because that could happen.
Blue Jays have now hit 4 home runs on the road this season. They set a franchise record a year ago with 117. That's why you step in the box ready to swing.
Blue Jays got to hit on the field. There's that backdoor cutter once again. That was the nemesis of Josh Donaldson last night against Mike Minor. Got him a couple of times on that backdoor cutter. Can't give up on it. But the Blue Jays got a chance to hit on the field today. It shows that they're getting ready to swing it.
That ball started off the plate outside and broke right over the heart of the plate for strike 3. 1 away for Justin Smoak. We mentioned Smoak over his last 7 games hitting .400. 4 doubles, 2 home runs, and 10 RBIs. Up the middle, base hit for Smoak. So already here in the first inning, the Blue Jays have as many hits as they had all night last night.
See, the weather warms up, the bats start warming up a little bit. Smoak hitting .400 this year against lefties. Basically picking up where he left off last year against left-handed pitches. Took that one back through the middle.
Smoak's aboard. That's his 12th hit of the season. That'll bring Yannervis Solarte to the plate. Solarte continues to bat in the cleanup spot, playing at second base this afternoon. He goes after the first pitch. There's another base hit. Smoak will get to second base. The Blue Jays, boy, they've got their hitting shoes on early, not wasting any time. The second first pitch base hit of the inning.
They've looked into the scouting report, and the scouting report says Cole Hamels is going to be around the plate. He doesn't blow it by you like he did when he was younger, so be ready to swing it. Solarte off to a great start this year with the Blue Jays. Sinker down and away instead of trying to pull it, just softly hits it into right field for a base hit.
Solarte's 7th hit of the season. First and second, 1 away for Morales. Hamels continues to throw that first pitch strike. Morales for his career against Hamels, 3 for 9 with a double and a home run. He needs to get going. This might be the guy that he's been looking for.
Somebody that he's familiar with. He's got a great swing from the right side. A little bit different than the left side. Left side, he's got his hands a little higher and he tries to elevate the baseball. This is his natural side right here, right-handed. Hits for a higher average from the right side.
See Morales wearing the glasses. Those are prescription glasses that turn darker in the daytime. So they're the same glasses he's been wearing. They just look much different here in the afternoon. 2-1 to Morales. Hamels has always had a great changeup.
Yeah, he says that is the pitch that made me who I am. And that changeup down and away. He says I got to keep that changeup and keep throwing it to hitters and put it in their heads. And I think that will create some separation with my fastball.
There's a drive to the alley in right center. Get up, ball, get up, and gone! Home run, Kendrys Morales. The Blue Jays put up a 4 spot here in the first inning, and there's still just 1 out.
Well, there wasn't a lot of separation from his fastball and his changeup. He said the changeup made me who I am. I need to get it in the head of those hitters so I can create separation with my fastball, but there wasn't a lot of separation because he didn't throw a good pitch with that fastball. That was out over the plate, and boy, the Blue Jays and Kendrys Morales need that right there.
We mentioned Morales had a home run against Hamels back in 2014. That's his first of the season.
So he had a changeup the previous pitch, and he's going to come by and try and throw the fastball by him, and it's out over the plate. And he clocks that ball to right field. 3 more runs for the Blue Jays.
Morales hasn't had consistent at-bats with Donaldson having to DH early in the season, so that's a good sign for him. Kevin Pillar.
That's 9 games now where the Blue Jays have hit at least 1 home run this season. It's the most in baseball.
9 out of 10. And they continue to hit homers on the road. They had back-to-back home runs here on Friday night. Pierce's home run last night, that's got a chance to fall. Get down, ball. Chu gets there in time. Shin-Shu Chu making his second start in right field. Had a long run, but he got there and made a nice sliding catch for the second out of the inning.
He was playing very deep in right field, had a long way to go, but that ball hung up there just long enough for Chu to run it down and slide and make the catch. When it left the bat, it looked like it was going to be a double. Watch how far Chu's got to come for that ball, but he doesn't give up. He was the only guy who was going to catch that one. And he helps out his starter, Cole Hamels, with a nice play.
Randall Grichuk needs to get something going. He's 0 for his last 22. 9 strikeouts over that span. It's just 2 for 30 overall. One pitch. High fly ball. That's going to stay in the ballpark. Ryan Rua, the left fielder, waits on it. But what a good start for the Blue Jays. They put up 4 runs in the first on 4 hits, and they hit 2 home runs off Cole Hamels. Steve Pearce, his second of the series. Kenrys Morales, his first of the season. 345 road home runs for the Blue Jays since 2015. Themselves a hole. They trail 4-0. Let's take a look at the lineup for Bannister's Texas Rangers in the 3 spot. Boy, how about Elvis Andrus? He has worn it out here at home. He's 12 for 22 hitting at Globe Life Ballpark. Off to a great start. 385 overall. Adrian Beltre did not play yesterday on his birthday. He has 462 career home runs, tied for 36th all-time and 3rd active among the home run leaders.
They've been some pesky at bats the first 2 games in this series, and they will face Jaime Garcia, second start of the season for Garcia. No record. He was very good in that outing against the White Sox. 6 innings. He had 7 strikeouts. The ball was dipping and diving all over the place, cutting and sinking. I think he needs to do the same thing against this Texas Rangers team, and I think he'll be just fine if he does that.
Jaime Garcia working to Shin-Shu Chu. Chu has actually had some at-bats against Garcia. He's 2 for 8 against Jaime. Luke Mailey's doing the catching for Garcia. First time he has caught him in a regular season game, obviously. Chu's off to a good start. 3 homers and 5 ribbies.
Garcia has never pitched against the Rangers in the regular season, but he has pitched against them in the playoffs, and he's had success against them. Should be a good matchup for him.
Line drive, base hit to left field. Pierce trying to cut it off. He gets to it, dives. Chu is on his way to second, and the throw is offline. Shin-Shu Chu leads things off with a double to left. His third double of the season.
Blue Jays play Sin-Chu Chu to pull on the infield, but he's got that ability to stay behind the ball, stay inside it. Watch the inside-out swing on that hanging cutter. Stays with it, slices it to left field. Pierce does everything he can to cut it off and then come up throwing. He just didn't have a good grip on it. No chance to get Chu, who was running hard out of the box, and got himself an extra base hit.
Sin-Chu Chu, a good leadoff hitter for this Rangers lineup. Their regular leadoff hitter started 2 games and broke his hamate bone, Delino DeShields, so he is on the DL right now. So they've made some adjustments in their lineup. Rougned Odor hit second in the game last night for the first time this year. Odor showing bunt and takes it up and in. You know what? Even if there was a little bit of intent behind it, I like it. You square around, that's easy, then soon you should be a little bit light on your toes.
Yeah, well, you do that because it looked like he was taken all the way. Being down 4-0, I don't know if they were playing for just 1 run this early in the ball game.
No,
I think
he
it
just
was
wanted to get a look at him.
Get a look at him.
He is bunting. Smoke's going to get it and cut off Odor for the out. Curious decision by Odor. He was clearly bunting for a base hit. He just bunted it too close to the foul.
You know, the only thing I could think of, I was reading an article the other day from Jeff Bannister. He was talking about, hey, we're struggling to score runs. If I get a leadoff double early in the game, I'm going to play for 1 run. He pulls that ball on the bunt attempt to try and beat it out.
I just think it's hard to do that when you're down by 4 runs in the first inning.
Right.
Especially with a guy that's got some pop like Odor. Elvis Andrus now, you got to be careful with him. He's been on fire, especially here at home. 12 for 22 in his at-bats here at Globe Life Park. He goes after the first pitch and he is red hot. So just like that, the Rangers get 1 back. Odor, he's out to congratulate Chu for the double in the runs scored. Now it's a 4-1 game, and Andrus picks up his 13th hit this season at home.
Pitchers are having trouble settling in here in the first inning. The hitters, it's a little bit warmer today. They've come out swinging. That ball is too high and catches too much of the plate as he rips it into left field for a base hit. His 4th RBI of the season.
So with Andrus at first, Adrian Beltre steps in the box, the cleanup hitter. Did not play in the game yesterday. There's a first pitch strike. We mentioned that Jaime Garcia has never made a regular season start against the Rangers. He started 2 games in the World Series in 2011 while pitching for the Cardinals. Garcia was terrific in Game 2 of that World Series, pitched 7 innings, allowed 3 hits, and he was lifted for a pinch hitter. Alan Craig had a pinch hit base hit to give Garcia a 1-0 lead, but Texas came back and scored 2 in the top of the 9th to win it 2-1.
For him to be successful today, I think he's got to pound that 4-seamer in, especially to these righties.
There's a high fly that's going to reach the seats out of play.
What that does when you use that 4-seamer and you show that you're going to pitch inside, I think if you establish that, it opens everything else up. I think it opens up his slider that he can then throw to the right-handers. It opens up, he can go down and away with his sinker to get the ground ball outs like he did against the Chicago White Sox. He got 3 ground ball double plays in that game against the White Sox. But you got to put fastball inside, I think, early in this ball game to these right-handed hitters.
This is a fly ball to right. Grichuk with a long run. He will get there and make the catch. So Beltre's retired. 2-away now. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense. In the outfield, it's Pierce, Pilar, and Grichuk. And Grichuk made a terrific catch in the game last night.
And you got a shot there of Luke Maile. Luke was going to be doing the catching today. He caught Jaime Garcia just a couple of times this spring in 2 games, an inning apiece, and in those games Garcia was working on his fastball, so he couldn't really get a feel for what his sinker and his changeup does. But I think the big pitch for him again, other than that fastball in, is that two-seam sinker to keep the ball on the ground.
Breaking ball to get ahead for strike one. This is Joey Gallo, hitting in the 5th spot for the 2nd straight game. They dropped him down to 5th in the order, and he had a good game, couple of walks and a big 2-out 2-run double. Swinging a drive deep to right field. That ball is foul. It had plenty of distance, but well fouled. Well, that's what Gallo does. He's a home run threat every time he steps to the box. Gallo hit 41 homers and drove in 80 last year.
They had him in the number 2 hole. Felt like he was a little jumpy up there. They've dropped him down. They say he's still developing as a young player, so they want him to feel comfortable as he can be. Whatever you do, I think you got to expand the strike zone against him.
There's that fastball you were talking about inside. He got the foul off of the bat of Gallo.
Yeah, if you put that in his mind, I think it opens up the outside part of the plate. He's a free swinger, so you can go cutter down and away or slider down and away.
Oh, 2. Garcia ahead of Gallo. Fly ball, not deep. Kevin Pillar, the center fielder, comes over, way over in front of Pierce and makes the catch. Gallo flies out to end the inning. The Rangers get one back. They scored a run on 2 hits.
Certainly use this time to regroup from a mental point of view. Travis is off to a slow start at the plate, as even though he is frustrated, he said he's not too worried, telling me, quote, "I feel good, I feel comfortable. It's just a tough game. Sometimes things don't go the way you want them to go, but you can't allow yourself to get down or press or go up there looking for hits. That's when more trouble happens." I asked Travis whether he's had to adjust anything mechanically because of his injury history, and he told me that would just be an excuse. He said he's had no issues with the knee. He feels good when he does his work off the field. He has to continue to plug away and just trust the process, Buck, telling me, quote, "Now it's just time for me to put it on display when the game begins."
Yep, just time to go out and play, and that's what he wants to do. But I think the Blue Jays are doing the right thing, making sure that he has enough time to really get back on his feet again in the big leagues.
I want to see him playing in August and September. I mean, he's been shut down for the last couple of years because of injuries, so they're being proactive when it comes to he and Russell Martin.
Luke Maile making his 3rd start of the season. He's gotten off to a good start with the bat. He's 3 for 8. Pair of doubles and 3 RBIs.
Had some good at-bats in that last start that he had. Double down the left field line his first time up, double to right center field.
Fly ball to left field. Rua backing up on the warning track just in front of the scoreboard. He makes the catch. They mentioned that the Rangers starter Cole Hamels has never beaten the Blue Jays. And it's one of 2 teams he hasn't beaten in his big league career. The Phillies, the other one that he hasn't beaten.
Yeah.
But you see his numbers not too good against Toronto.
4 regular season starts and 2 playoff starts against the Blue Jays. Not real good. Opponent's batting average of 300 in the home run. It's already played out in the first inning today. He's given up 9 home runs, 2 more today. Last time they faced him in the regular season was 2014, and they pounded him for 10 hits in 6 innings.
Ledmus Diaz takes a pitch off the plate. 2-0. Diaz is 5 for 19 in the early going. He's got a pair of doubles and a pair of home runs. High pop-up behind third base. The shortstop Elvis Andrews out into the outfield makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the second. I saw Cole Hamels pitch as a 19-year-old in 2003 in Lakewood, New Jersey with the Phillies. The reason I was at that game, my son Casey was catching him. And I went to watch Casey play, and I see this 19-year-old left-hander. I said, that must be a big leaguer rehabbing.
He was that good.
He was terrific. 19 years old at Lakewood in A-ball. He went 6-1 in 13 starts. He had a 0.84 earned run average and had 74 2/3 innings, gave up just 32 hits. They quickly promoted him to Clearwater in the Florida State League, and then shortly thereafter he was in the big leagues.
Been dealing ever since. They paid a big price to bring him over here. I believe it was 4 players that they sent to the Phillies to get him over here, and he's done exactly what they wanted him to do, and that's win.
Pierce hits it off Hamels' glove. Andrews from shortstop gets there, and Gallo can't make the play. Joey Gallo has scooped a couple of low throws earlier in this series. That time it looked like another play he could make, but he didn't come up with it cleanly.
Well, Hamels might have been better off just letting the ball go. He ticks it, and it ricochets over to Andrews. Andrews on the run. A little shallow. You can see where that ball hit. Hit him right in the heel of the glove. There is the second baseman standing right there. That was going to be right at him. But Hamels' reaction kicks the ball over to Andrews, and Blue Jays have the inning. Keeps going.
It's the second error of the season charged to the shortstop, Elvis Andrews. Here is Josh Donaldson. Boy, they've thrown him a lot of those breaking pitches on the outside corner. He was called out twice in the game yesterday facing Mike Minor, and Hamels got him in the first.
You know, he's such a smart hitter. He'll figure that out, what they're trying to do, and he's going to take one of those balls and hit a double to right field, shoot it up the alley.
Same pitch, this time inside.
"11 strikeouts in just 5 innings in his last start for Cole Hamels." Why just 5 innings? Well, it took him 94 pitches to finish those 5 innings.
Delayed steal. Pierce is headed for second, and he's out. Ball was in the dirt. Pierce broke for second. Torino's made a nice throw. That's the first base runner he's caught this season. Pierce trying to move into scoring position with Donaldson at the plate. The ball is in the dirt. He reads it, breaks for second, but Chirinos is on his toes and throws him out.
to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching this afternoon's broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and your code must be entered by 4 a.m. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. As we move to the bottom of the second, the Blue Jays have an early 4-1 lead. Here is Robertson Chirinos, the catcher. That was not a caught stealing when he made the throw to throw out Steve Pearce. Pearce was out advancing on the ball in the dirt. So it was not a caught stealing for Chirinos. Chirinos just 2 for 25 so far this season.
Been battling some wrist problems when he had a play at the plate and tried to put a tag on the runner, bent that wrist back, but he says he's okay. He has had success against the Blue Jays in the past.
Strikeouts have been a problem for Chirinos early on. Ball on his strike, way outside. Now, Chirinos made a tag play Wednesday out in Oakland at home plate and injured his wrist. He did not play Thursday. Came back and played Friday. Juan Centeno caught last night, so Chirinos back in the game. And that's just the perils of being a catcher. And they're beat up, and that's why it's always impressive when you've got a catcher that can put up offensive numbers over the long haul.
It looked harmless too, but he just bent his wrist back a little bit and did some treatment, says he's okay to play. He is their #1 catcher.
Chirinos is 33 years old. He's from Venezuela. Got his first taste of the big leagues in 2011 with Tampa Bay. Started here in Texas in 2013. This is his 7th year with the Rangers. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff man here in the second. Off-speed pitch popped up. Diaz backpedaling into the outfield. He makes the catch, 1 away.
A lot of fly balls so far today from both of these pitchers. That's 3 straight fly balls off of Jaime Garcia. So let's take a look at what he features. He's going to pound that fastball 63% of the time. And I think it really sets up his slider and his changeup. Now his changeup and those breaking pitches, he's got so much explosive movement on them. At times he'll try to throw the changeup down and away and he'll cut it. Sometimes he'll try and cut it and it'll sink. So Luke Maile, I think, is an important guy today, trying to catch him when he's got that kind of movement.
Good job by Maile, receiving that strike to Jerickson Profar. Profar started in last night's game and had a good night. Picked up his first 2 hits of the season. He finished up 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. He's a switch hitter, batting right-handed against Garcia. He too pops it up. Grichuk, the right fielder, comes in and makes the catch. 2-way. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update for us. Boy, I tell you what, there's a lot of thin-skinned people around baseball right now. We saw an umpire in Washington throw out Anthony Rendon after he just dropped his bat, called strike 3. Everybody's on edge early on. Relax, people, relax.
Have you ever seen a manager come out to argue for his player and then get into it with the opposing catcher?
You know what, that doesn't happen very often. But he must have said something in reference to Molina, and he took exception to it. This is Ryan Rua. He's in the hole 0-2. Rua's off to a slow start. He's 3 for 26. And right on cue, it's an extra base hit just inside the bag at third. Pierce will play it back in. A 2-out double for Rua. That's his first extra base hit of the season.
2-out, 2-strike double by Rua, so that puts him into scoring position. When you miss your spots, good hitters are going to hit you hard. You can see that ball, they wanted it in just a little bit more. It catches too much of the plate with 2 strikes. Big league hitters with 2 strikes are shortening things up. So if you catch the plate, they're going to hit it.
So the number 9 hitter is the center fielder, Carlos Tochi. He's a rookie playing in his first season in the big leagues. He's 22 years old. Drew Robinson has played center field in the first 2 games of this series. He's a left-handed hitter, so today Tochi gets a chance.
He was a Rule 5 pick by the White Sox. The White Sox picked him, I believe, from Philadelphia and then traded him here to Texas. So he's got to be in the big leagues all season long, or he's going to have to be offered back to his team, his original team.
Signed originally with the Phillies in 2011 as a non-drafted free agent from Venezuela. Two balls and no strikes. Got to come after the number 9 hitter in this situation. Sin-Shu Chu is on deck. He doubled his first time up.
Yeah, you hate to fall behind hitters you're not real familiar with, because you got to come in there with a fastball.
3-0. Garcia wants a new baseball. We talked about this last night, how pitchers had trouble gripping a baseball because of the cold, dry air, and Marcus Stroman had a lot of trouble, and so did Mike Minor. Minor didn't throw many fastballs because he didn't have a grip on his fastball.
Threw a lot of cutters and threw a lot of change-ups, and Marcus just wasn't right with all the base on balls. And you know, who could blame either one?
A 4-pitch walk to the number 9 hitter. The Pitch Tractor is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Well, back to the top of the order. Sin-Shu Chu doubled and scored in the first. He slapped a double through the shortstop hole that got past Steve Pearce for a double. First and second, 2 outs.
The pitch there to get strike 1. We've watched it for the first 2 games in this series. This is a pesky bunch of hitters, the Texas Rangers. They can light up the scoreboard in a hurry. 2 quick outs, 0-2 on the hitter, and just like that, you got a couple of runners on base and a really good hitter at the plate in Chu.
Chu, of course, the Blue Jay fans will remember his role in the playoff game when Russell Martin hit his bat and allowed a run to score from third base in the playoff game.
Who could ever forget that if you're a Blue Jays fan? And the guy who scored the run is on deck now.
Rougned Odor, and that was one of the most exciting half innings in baseball, and the Blue Jays would then have the infamous bat flip in the bottom of that half inning. First and second, 2-1. A 2-out double by Rua and a 2-out walk to Tochi. Strike 3 call. What a job by Garcia getting that breaking ball over. That's his first strikeout of the afternoon. The Rangers get a double and a walk, but they strand a pair. fastball.
Yeah, his fastball in 2017 averaged 92 miles an hour. He's under 90 now, so I don't want to say he has to reinvent himself, but he's got to find out different ways to get hitters out. Says he's throwing more changeups now because that makes the velocity play up. In that last start that we were talking about with Oakland, he threw 21 changeups in 5 innings. So when you're not throwing as hard as you can, you got to figure out other ways to get big league hitters out.
He's 34 years old now. This is his 14th season in the majors, so it's all about being aware of what hitters are doing against you. Donaldson with a 2-0 count. He was called out on strikes his first time up.
Josh was hitting when Steve Pearce tried to advance on that ball in the dirt. So he gets a fresh count.
That was a fastball on the outside corner, 2-1. We mentioned Hamels 0-4 in 7 career starts against the Blue Jays, including the playoffs. Donaldson said, "You're going to pitch me outside, I'm going to hit it that way."
And he can hit that ball the other way with authority. Nothing soft over to the right side of the infield when he is on. Josh has had a couple of home runs this year, one of them right down the right field line.
That home run was the famous whistle home run against the White Sox.
That's right.
And now Boston started blowing the whistle when Donaldson connected for his first home run of the season. He stepped on home plate and mocked the whistle-blowing Darryl Boston, the first base coach. Full count to Donaldson. Smoke's on deck. There's another ball hit deep to right. Chew back at the track, right at the edge of the grass, and makes the catch. Another pitch outside, and Donaldson drove it a long way.
That one looked like it might have been a changeup down in a way, and he stayed with it. He hits that ball in the summertime, it's a home run. Balls aren't really going anywhere today. The wind seems to be blowing in from right field, but he still hit it well enough to send Chew to the warning track.
Justin Smoke singled and scored back in the first inning. Smoke is now 5 for 11 against lefty pitching so far this season. Mentioned the drop in velocity, and that cutter slider has been an effective pitch for him. There's another base hit for Smoke. This might have been off the end of the bat. That was a changeup, and Hamels looks frustrated. He looked at Smoke as he was running up the first baseline and said, "Man, you guys going to hit everything?"
Well, you know, when you take that ball away, you can find a hole, especially if the infielders keep moving around. And watching the second baseman Jurickson Profar, he kept moving around when Smoke was at the plate. One time he would start on the shortstop side of second base, then he'd move back over, then he moved back over, and Smoke said, "Okay, you're going to do that? I'm going to take that ball away and just shoot it to right field very easily."
How does that impact a hitter watching a defensive player move as far as what the pitch might be?
That's a great point, because if I'm hitting and I see them starting to move around like that, if he starts to play me pull, I'm thinking they're coming inside. If they start playing me away, I think they're going to start pitching me away. Smoke crossed him up and got himself a base hit.
Nervis Solarte had a base hit on the first pitch back in the first inning. He scored on the 3-run home run by Kendrys Morales. Cole Hamels now has given up 5 hits. He's recorded just 1 strikeout. I don't think it helps Cole Hamels the fact that the first two pitchers in this series were left-handed. So now the third straight day, the Blue Jay hitters are very accustomed to hitting against lefty pitching.
And the players who are in right-handed platoon situations are getting some at-bats. You don't see a lot of lefties, so if you're a right-handed hitter in the platoon situation, you know, you can have your problems hitting. But that's the dilemma that Jeff Bannister, Doug Brocail, the pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, have, because they've got 4 left-handed starters in the rotation. You can't break them up. At one point, they're all going to pitch in a row.
Well, and we mentioned how similar Cole Hamels is to last night's starter. Same type of approach, and the Blue Jays obviously have made a very constructive adjustment. So here is Kendrys Morales. He hit a 3-run homer his first time up to deep right center. Well, wouldn't it be nice to get him going a bit?
And you start adding him to the bat of Solarte, who's been hitting cleanup for the Blue Jays. Justin Smoke looks like he's taking the next step as a hitter. Another RBI guy. And the Blue Jays have done a good job hitting with runners in scoring position at the beginning of this season.
They sure have, and they have really had good at-bats with 2 strikes. Last year it was a real problem for them. They just couldn't cash in consistently with scoring opportunities on the line. Breaking ball for strike 2.
He got 17 swings and misses in his last start, did Cole Hamels, 14 of them off of the changeup or the slider. So doing something a little bit different this season.
Ground ball, base hit through the left side. Smoke's going to be stopped at third. Rua plays it back in. Morales is 2 for 2. Bases are loaded. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, the Yankees have had a little bit of a tough luck stretch with the disabled list. CC Sabathia's on the DL. Brandon Drury's on the DL. Aaron Hicks is on the DL. Jacoby Ellsbury's on the DL. They've got the youngster Miguel Andujar playing third base right now. Kevin Pillar with the bases loaded takes a first pitch curveball.
And a big strength of that team was their bullpen, and they've gotten off to a slow start this year.
Boy, a great opportunity to bust it wide open. Just 1 out and the bases loaded. Off of Cole Hamels. Ball comes down right near the mound, and Pillar beats it out. That'll be a base hit and an RBI for Kevin Pillar as Justin Smoke comes in to score. It's 5-1 Blue Jays.
You know, because the Blue Jays have been taking that sinker down and away and hitting it to right field, the right-handers, they've straightened out the defense. And when you do that, there's holes all over the infield. If he doesn't get hit with that ball, that's going up the middle and 2 runs, but Pillar will take it. Infield hit. There's the defense, spread out against Pillar. Shoots it right off his ankle, and when you're running up the base like that, you're thinking base hit. I got to get there as quick as possible and run right through the bag because it's a hit and an RBI.
For Kevin, that's 3 RBIs on the season, and boy, the Blue Jays have made a terrific adjustment here today. They were handcuffed last night to the tune of 1 run on 2 hits. That was it. Randall Grichuk, bases still loaded.
Teams have been pounding him up with the fastball. You can see the first 2 pitches in this at-bat. Fastballs up above the strike zone. So he's just going to have to be patient and let them bring that ball down, and when they do, be ready to hit it.
Good numbers for his career with the bases loaded. He needs a base hit right now. Breaking ball.
Not too anxious. It looks like he's trying to swing the bat and get hits before the ball even gets there.
Jacoby has worked long and hard trying to get Grichuk to relax, and talking with Mike Mordecai. Everybody's trying to look for a solution to help Grichuk snap this long offer.
Sometimes all it takes is a broken bat base hit into the outfield, like these types of games when you've got the bases loaded, or a swinging bunt, anything, just to put a crooked number up there.
0 for 8 in the series, 0 for his last 23. A base hit right here would do wonders for Grichuk. Fouls that one off his foot. You know, when you go to a new team and the first thing you do, you want to contribute. And Randall has worked hard, and he was slowed by a wrist injury in spring training, a little bit of an oblique injury in spring training. Didn't have a lot of real consistent at bats. But John Gibbons is confident things are going to turn around for him.
We saw enough of him in spring training that he did have, you know, some pretty good at bats when he did play. But right now he's just trying a little bit too hard, pressing just a little bit too much, a little anxious at the plate.
Ground ball toward third. Beltre steps on the bag across the diamond in time for the double play. Adrian Beltre, the 5-time Gold Glover, starts a 5-3 double play to end the inning, but the Blue Jays get another run. Kevin Pillar picks up an RBI. Randall Grichuk bounces it to third. Beltre catches it, steps on the bag, and fires across the diamond to end the inning.
Humboldt Strong. Live coverage of the vigil for the victims of Friday's bus crash. Hosted by Martine Guyard and Darren Millard with Ron McLean and Don Cherry in Humboldt. Catch it tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Sportsnet West, Pacific, and Sportsnet 1.
Certainly something that you want to check in on. The one thing that we have to remember, that is not going to be something that they get over quickly.
No.
So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Rougned Odor batting second. Odor had a bunt in his first at bat. Odor credited with a sacrifice. Though he was probably bunting for a base hit, but he moved the runner from second to third, and he was cashed in by Elvis Andrews' base hit.
Well, they said they wanted to play for 1 run early, and that's what you get. When you play for 1 run, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get 1 run. Nowadays, American League teams, they're playing for the big inning all the time. I don't care what inning it is.
Yeah, it's not very often you see American League teams utilize the sacrifice bunts. So far all season long, in 62 games, there have only been 10 sacrifice bunts. So it's a full count to the leadoff man here in the bottom of the third, Elvis Andrews. Looks like he comes up every inning, and he is swinging a hot bat. Cut on and missed. Odor strikes out. Second strikeout of the game for Garcia.
His ball moves so much, and it's got a lot of late movement on it. So as a hitter, you got to really wait as long as possible. And when you do that, look at the bottom drop off of that pitch right there. Odor with that big swing, swings over the top of it. You know, if you can pound down like that, if you're Jaime Garcia, you pound down in the strike zone, you're going to be fine.
Andrews had an RBI single his first time up. Boy, don't you love that get me over curveball for strike one?
And they're going to use that. That's when they're going to use that slow curveball early in the count, just to throw off the timing of those hitters. Try to get strike one.
Popped up behind second. Solarte out on the outfield grass. Makes the catch.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Much nicer day here in Arlington here on this Sunday afternoon. Start of play, it was 12 degrees compared to 5 degrees last night. Adrian Beltre. Garcia got him to fly out to right field his first time up. Beltre has been terrific for a long time. This is a great player.
What a great career. 38 home runs shy of 500. We saw him last year get his 3,000th hit. Not a lot of third basemen in Major League history can say they have 3,000 hits.
When you look at his consistency over the years, it's remarkable, and he just continues to put up great numbers, and that's why he had the off day yesterday. They want to keep him as fresh as possible.
Well, then you add in the fact that he's an outstanding defender over third base and an even better leader on this team. Players love this guy, and if they have any problems, they always go to Beltre. And he helps them sort it out, always ready to help the young player.
He is the all-time hit leader among hitters born in Latin America. And we mentioned where he ranks in all-time home runs. He's one behind Miguel Cabrera, tied with Canseco and Dunn. 462 career home runs. He's 2 hits behind Craig Biggio for 23rd all-time on the hits list.
You know, and everybody says, okay, this is the year that Adrian Beltre starts to slow down. Doesn't happen. And the next year, well, he's got to be slowing down at some point. He's 39 years old, but look at that body. I mean, he's chiseled, in great shape, still plays just about every day.
Garcia strikes him out. Garcia, 3 strikeouts in the game, 3 up, 3 down. He retires the side in order in the bottom of the third. Blue Jays and Jaime Garcia with a 5-1 lead.
Their new home sits on 13 acres of land just across the street to where we are now and will feature a state-of-the-art retractable roof, much like the one at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Now, the roof was the biggest factor in building a new facility, given the extreme heat in July and August. The Rangers' new home will accommodate roughly 40,000 fans and will be surrounded by a multi-purpose sports and entertainment venue called Texas Live. The development will be an integral part of the fan experience, and portions of Texas Live will be butted up next to left field, so fans, Buck, can see inside the stadium when they're walking outside the ballpark. Pretty interesting.
Very interesting, and this is a beautiful ballpark in its own right. But you're right, during the summertime it gets really hot here, and the fans have a tendency to stay away. But with a roof, it'll be a different story, so that'll be open in 2020, just about half a mile from here.
Yep, right down the street from this ballpark. What a complex they have built here in Arlington for their sports teams.
Jerry Jones and the Cowboys are right next door to AT&T Stadium, one of the great football facilities in all of sports. Luke Maley flying out to left field, his first time up. Blue Jays have 5 runs on 7 hits and a big 3-run home run by Kendrys Morales in the first. Saw Cole Hamels shake a couple of times, and instead of shaking once more, he just wiped to the pitch he wanted. Instead of taking more time to wait for the catcher to come up with the right pitch, he just wiped to the pitch he wanted.
That's old school. Love it. We want to speed up the game. There you go. And all it is whatever the last sign the catcher put down, if he wipes one time above the belt, just add a pitch. Seen pitchers, if they wipe below the belt, then you subtract. So if you end on 4 and you subtract, throw a 3. That's a slider.
Beltre again with another terrific defensive play. It's hard to get it by Adrian Beltre. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Cleveland has had a tough time scoring runs. They lost yesterday 1-0, and Trevor Bauer pitched a terrific game. Lucas Duda hit a home run. It was the only run of the ball game.
It's like 20 degrees there. I don't blame him.
Andrews at shortstop fires across the diamond in time. Diaz grounds out 6-3 on the putout. 2 ground ball outs here in the 4th.
We saw it yesterday, how hard it is to hit when it's so cold, and if you're not used to it. They got to deal with that early in the season in April in the Great Lakes area.
Coming into this game today, Cleveland had scored just 7 runs over their previous 4 games. They were hitting .132. Steve Pearce steps to the plate, and boy, he did something that doesn't happen very often in Blue Jays franchise history at the first pitch of the game out of the ballpark. It's the 9th time in franchise history that a Blue Jay has homered on the first pitch of the game. You go back to '91, Devon White did it, and he also did it in '95. The others that have hit the first pitch out of the game in franchise history: Jose Bautista, Fred Lewis, Brett Lawrie. Jose Reyes did it twice, once in 13 and once in 14. Bautista in 16, and Pearce this afternoon. This time he strikes out. So Hamels starting to find it a bit. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in the top of the 4th. career. He made 18 starts last season for the Braves. Then he was traded to Minnesota. Made just one start. Minnesota changed their mind about going for it. They traded him to New York, where he made 8 starts. And then the Blue Jays signed him in February, so he's played with 4 different teams over the last 12 months of the year.
In those 3, made 3 consecutive starts for 3 different teams. Became the first pitcher since 1895 to do that. Make a start for 3 different teams consecutively.
July 21st, he started for the Braves against the Dodgers. July 27th, he started for the Twins against Oakland. And then August 4th, he started for the Yankees against Cleveland. Hard to get to know your catcher. There's a deep drive to center, but Pilar's got plenty of room. Joey Gallo flies out.
I think this is a good day to be a fly ball type of pitcher because the wind seems to be blowing in and holding everything up in the outfield. If you're going to hit a home run, you got to hit it the way Steve Pearce did. That line drive down the lines, the shortest distance down the lines. You get it into the gaps today, I'm not sure it's going to carry out of here.
Robinson Chirinos, the catcher, batting with a 1 out. First pitch strike. Garcia, last year, we mentioned he started 18 games for the Braves. One of those was against the Blue Jays in Toronto on May 16th. 5 1/3. He was charged with 4 earned runs on 3 hits. He walked 4. That was a problem that day. What's wrong with that pitch?
That pitch looked like it was right there. Another curveball early in the count.
Last ball away. You know, you mentioned the curveball, and he doesn't necessarily throw a lot of them, but that's why a catcher is so important, to just be aware of what's happening during the course of a ball game. Curveball's pretty good. Maile has gone to it a little more regularly. 1-2. Another breaking ball. So you can sit before the game and go over the scouting report and say, okay, we're going to throw sinkers and sliders, a couple change-ups, and then you get behind the plate and all of a sudden he throws you a curveball and go, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he said if we're going to use that curveball, we're going to use it early in the counts, just to drop it in there, hopefully for strike 1, and it opens everything else up.
Change-up missed away.
It's the first time that he is catching him again in the regular season for a full game, so there's some learning also on his end of the deal.
Luke made a conscious effort to catch Garcia in a side session at Rogers Center. There's another curveball. He went down to catch him and just wanted to get a feel for all of his pitches. Like you said, in spring training, Garcia was working just on his fastball, so that wasn't a good test for Maile. Full count, 1 out. Profar is on deck, the switch hitter. Pulled foul past third.
Mr. Chirinos has been watching Adrian Beltre go down to that one knee when he swings hard like that.
Profar played at third base last night. He's at second base this afternoon. Strike 3 called. Chirinos caught looking at a fastball. That's 4 strikeouts on the afternoon for Jaime Garcia. 2 away here in the 4th.
He lost a strike early in this at bat where he thought was strike 2. He's rewarded with that ball that just clips the outside corner. Good job by Luke Maile to frame that one up and keep it right there for the home plate umpire. That's 4 strikeouts now for Garcia through 4 innings.
Trying to get that curveball in there for strike 1. Profar hit a high fly ball to right his first time up. Ball and strike to the second baseman. Mentioned Profar's a switch hitter.
Finding him some at bats. They're trying to get him going and get his talent. He's got an immense amount of talent. Can run, can hit, can field, can play different positions. Right now they're just trying to find a place for him.
Profar is from Curaçao in the Netherlands Antilles. And there is a group of terrific players from Curaçao and Aruba. Xander Bogaerts, who's off to a great start for Boston, is from Aruba. Kenley Jansen, Andrew Jones, Jair Jurgens, a former pitcher with the Braves, Andrelton Simmons, Jonathan Scope, and Profar is another one of those multi-talented infielders from the Netherlands Antilles. So Profar takes a walk, just the second walk issued. Also a 2-out walk, just like the walk back in the second. Ryan Rua had a double down the left field line back in the second. His first extra base hit of the season. Two away.
Second time through the lineup for Garcia. He's changing things up just a little bit more. Early on, he'll use his fastball a little bit more. Second time through, he'll start throwing more breaking balls. Good job there by Maley to keep that ball in front of him.
Luke's a big catcher. He's 6'3", well, he's 225, and he is a big target to block those balls. Garcia committed an error in his first start on a pickoff play. Just kind of lobbed it over Smoke's head at first base while pitching against the White Sox. That time he had a pretty good move.
Profar last year in limited time did not have a stolen base for Texas, but he can run. He's just not getting a very good read off of Jaime Garcia right now.
The Rangers have not run very effectively so far this season. They're just 2 for 7 in stolen bases.
Don't even need to worry about that runner, I think, over at first base, because whenever Jaime picks up that front foot, Profar, the runner over at first base, is actually going back to the bag. So concentrate on that hitter and make a good pitch. As soon as he lifts his leg up, he moves back towards the bag.
Fly ball into right. Grichuk coming in. He will get there, and that ends the inning. Flies out to right field. The Rangers leave a base runner. We'll go to the fifth. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead here in Arlington. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio.
when the Blue Jays host the Kansas City Royals. Note the early start time, 4:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, as always, visit bluejays.com.
Great souvenir if you come to the ballpark early that day, and make sure you get one of those classic t-shirts. Fifth inning, Josh Donaldson is 0 for 2 so far. Drove a ball deep to right field his last time up. Josh is 2 for 11 in the series.
Just missed a hit his last time up, I thought. Just missed it. Drove the outfielder to the wall in right field.
Hamilton's using that changeup very effectively here in the middle innings. Blue Jays jumped on Cole Hamels for 4 runs on 4 hits in the first inning. The big shot, Kendrys Morales' 3-run home run. Steve Pearce hit the first pitch that Hamels threw this afternoon out of the ballpark for a home run. Donaldson called out on strikes again. Thought it was a little bit low.
No, Buck,
Justin Smoke to the plate.
There's so much analytics out there, and there's so much information defensively of how you sit up to face a guy. But how about the last at bat? Keep an eye on the second baseman behind the pitcher. He's on the shortstop side behind Cole Hamels. This is the second pitch of the at bat. He keeps moving around. Now he's back over to his regular position. Third pitch, I think Justin Smoke sees that, and look at that. Wiggles one through the right side of the infield for a base hit. And how about the second baseman where he is now? He says, okay, I learned my lesson. I better stay straight up against Justin Smoke.
That's how you counteract the shifts. He didn't mean to hit Brentwood on that side. Got jammed, and Gallo stepped on the back. 2 up, 2 down here in the fifth. So at least you straighten out the defense somewhat when you start getting hits against the shift, and that's what Smoke did his previous at-bat.
Well, sometimes you can overthink it. I think sometimes he was in the right spot, and then he moved, and then he moved out of position for Smoke, and Smokey says, "Thank you very much. I'll take it and get another base hit."
So far, the second baseman moving around on that Smoke at-bat was back in the 3rd inning. This is Yannervis Solarte. Big swing and a miss. Solarte has singled and scored. He walked his last time up. Solarte has 5 walks in the 3 games. Getting on base at a regular pace.
He showed a lot of patience at the plate. They put him in that number 4 hole to drive in some runs. They're trying to get him to nibble at those balls and swing at those pitches off the plate, and very patient.
That shatters and ends up against the screen in front of the dugout.
As they go find another piece of wood for Solarte, let's finish off the thought with that at bat for Smoke. Remember, 1, 2, 3, and the guy's moving around all the time. There are the pitches right there, so I'm going to throw the ball away. Watch his reaction saying, where's my second baseman? I thought the second baseman was supposed to be there. I'm pitching to my defense, and you keep shifting it around on me.
And then he looked into the dugout, because that's where all the defensive alignments come from. Saying, you know what, that's a routine ground ball out. Play the defense straight away.
It worked that time. He was back into his regular position against Justin Smoke.
Changeup that Solarte fouls off his foot.
We mentioned the strikeouts that Hamels had in that last start, 11 of them in just 5 innings. That's the highest strikeout total by a Rangers pitcher in an outing of 5 or fewer innings. I mean, that's how he was on. The first 7 outs were all strikeouts versus Oakland. 11 total, his highest total since July of 2016.
Full count to Solarte.
Today, not so much. Blue Jays have shown a lot of patience.
Morales is 2 for 2 against Hamels. 3-run homer and a single. And Solarte takes his 6th walk of the series. Second time he's walked this afternoon. Putting together some great at-bats.
Great at-bats. He wasn't biting on that 3-2 changeup. And now you get the hot-hitting Kendrys Morales to the plate.
Morales with his first home run of the season back in the first. He had a base hit through the left side in the third. His third and fourth hits of the season. Swinging that breaking ball. Morales a year ago hit .362 against left-handed pitching. That was second in the American League behind Avisail Garcia of the White Sox, who hit .424. So this is his strong side.
Yeah, it is, and you can see he's got his hands a little bit lower than he does when he hits from the left side.
This time he strikes out. Another strikeout for Hamels. 2 in the inning. 4 in the ball game, but Cole Hamels and the Rangers trail 5-1.
At home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At-Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel, as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be 9-1-2 for Texas. Jaime Garcia, another solid beginning to this start. Carlos Tocci walked his first time up. First pitch strikes, first outs of innings, always crucial for any pitcher. And this inning, Garcia misses with the first pitch to Tocci.
We didn't get a chance to see him swing the bat as he walked him his first time up.
Hasn't seen a strike yet.
He hasn't seen one, so he hasn't had to swing.
There's a strike. It's 2-1 now. Shin-Soo Choo is on deck. As we saw in the opener of this ball game and yesterday, the Rangers can swing the bats. They were shut out early on in the season when they faced the Houston Astros, but there's a lot of teams going to have trouble hitting against the Astros. got a great pitching staff. Maybe
They
the
might,
best starting staff in all of baseball.
They might have the most dynamic starting staff in the American League. There's some other good staffs. I think the Cleveland Indians pitching staff is really good. I think the Boston Red Sox starting pitching staff's pretty good. And the Yankees, you can throw them in there. The most dynamic, though, there's another strikeout with Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole, Dallas Keuchel, and Cy Young Award winner Lance McCullers Jr. I mean, they've got some guys who can rush it up there.
Garcia with his 5th strikeout, first out of the inning, and now they'll turn the lineup over. Sin-Shu Chu, the leadoff man. He is in right field this afternoon after DHing the first 2 games. Looks like he might have been expecting to get that first pitch curveball and was late bailing out of the way.
See, that's what happens when you throw that early in the count. Maybe you do it just the 2nd time through the lineup. He's now working the 3rd time through the lineup. He got Chu his last time up on a slider, 3-2 slider, just painted him.
1-1 count to Chu inside. In his first start, Jaime Garcia used that slider very effectively against the White Sox. They were 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts on the slider. It's a wipeout pitch.
Just off the plate, and then he throws that changeup, and a lot of times his changeup, sometimes it'll sink, sometimes it'll cut. It'll act like a backup slider if he uses them together.
That ball moved and caught the outside corner.
But a good job right there from Luke Maile, just holding his hand right there and framing that one up.
Bouncing ball, Smoke will take it on the big hop and step on the bag. 2 away.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Globe Life Park in Arlington. This will be the only stop the Blue Jays make here against the Rangers this season, and they will actually finish the season series against Texas on the 29th of April. We'll be done with them in the first month of the season. Rougned Odor sacrifice bunt his first time up and struck out in the 3rd. It's a first pitch breaking ball. Odor fouls it out of play. Jaime Garcia has retired 9 of the last 10 that have come to the plate. The only one that reached was Profar, who had a 2-out walk in the 4th.
And the last time they had a hit was back in the 2nd inning, that 0-2 pitch to Ryan Rua that he just missed with, and he hit it down the left field line, but it was stranded at 2nd base. I like how he's mixing it up against the Rangers.
But it's really easy to do when you're throwing all of your pitches effectively, and that's what Jaime has done here this afternoon. Ball is really sinking. He's been able to get that slider over at will. Use the curveball very well to get ahead of hitters.
I haven't seen too many changeups. I think he's got a really good one too, but he hasn't had to use it.
Another slider. Boy, he creates a very difficult angle for hitters, especially left-handed hitters. Ball breaking down and away. Starts out of his hand on the same plane as his fastball.
He's only given up 19 home runs to left-handed batters in 9 years. 19 home runs to a left-handed hitter. Can really negate their power.
Popped back over the screen and out of play. The Blue Jays will leave after this game and head to Baltimore to resume play on this road trip. They'll have a 3-game series against the Orioles. John Gibbons will send Jay Happ to the mound tomorrow night against Dylan Bundy for the O's. Sharply hit, but the defense was positioned perfectly. Solarte throws out Odor. 5 in the books here in Arlington, and Jaime Garcia and the Jays have a 5-1 lead. Hampshire have gotten off to a great start. They're 4-0 in Double-A, and Lourdes Gurriel, he is playing shortstop. He played shortstop this afternoon. He went 2 for 4. He's hitting .438. And then Kevin Biggio, he has played first base. Today he started at second base. He hit his first home run of the season, as did Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He homered for the first time. Bo Bichette with 2 more hits. That team is loaded, Pat.
Yeah, loaded. They've got hitters up and down that lineup. That ball is fouled off. They also have some pretty good pitching there also. Sean Reed-Foley with the win today and the save to Andrew Case.
Andrew Case from St. John, New Brunswick picks up the save. And, you know, you look at Pentecost is catching there. Max Pentecost, the former #1 pick. He's healthy. Harold Ramirez, who was acquired in a trade from the Pirates, he is playing there in the outfield. Connor Panis had another hit a double today, and Panis is off to a good start. He's from Toronto.
Up to Guerrero and Biggio, both of them hitting their first home runs out of the ballpark. So a lot of pop in that lineup.
You know, and I think by design they have put all those youngsters together at Double-A just to have them play together. This is Chris Martin, who has started to warm up in the Rangers bullpen. Kevin Pillar shoots it down the left field line, but it hooks foul.
So every Sunday we'll be doing the farm report. I'm sure we'll be checking in on the New Hampshire Fisher Cats a lot this summer.
As we mentioned, they're off to a 4-0 start, so good for them. And keep an eye on some of those guys. Dusty Isaacs pitched in that game as well. So the Fisher Cats 4-0. On the ground, Andrews backhands, gathers, fires low, and Gallo can't come up with it again. I think that's going to be another error on Andrews.
I think it has to be. He got to the ball and he's not throwing well. That's about 3 times now in this series, as you see him blowing on his hand. 3 times in this series where he has bounced balls over to first base. Normally sure-handed and sure throwing. Bounces that one to Gallo, and Joey can't come up with it. Blue Jays have to take advantage of that now.
Second error of the ball game, charged to the shortstop as Pillar reaches base for a second time this afternoon. Gallo can't dig it out of the dirt. Randall Grichuk with Pillar at first. Grichuk out in front of that off-speed pitch. Oftentimes when you have a hitter struggling mightily like Grichuk, you put the hit and run on, just so he can focus on making contact, get some movement on the infield. Maybe you can buy him a hit.
You know what that becomes? It becomes really a positive reinforcement thought in his mind. He's not thinking about anything but the baseball. He's not thinking about where his hands are or what his stride looks like or anything. I mean, you're not going to do it now, being down 2 strikes. But you're right. It's a good way to unlock that mind, if you will, of the hitter when you're struggling.
Grichuk behind 0-2. And he strikes out on 3 pitches. Grichuk is 0 for 3 this afternoon.
Did not want to feed him a fastball in that at bat. Looked like 3 changeups in a row. The last one down and away, and he gets the strikeout. That's his 5th this afternoon. You can see how out in front he is on that swing.
Luke Bailey, the catcher, with Pilar at first and one out. Kale, the pitching coach, checking on the status of their reliever, Chris Martin. Pilar's been on base twice this afternoon, reached on an infield base hit. He picked up an RBI in the 3rd and reached on an air here in the 6th.
Right. Hamels is not giving the Blue Jays a chance to run now. Didn't give him a chance to hit and run with Grichuk, and now he's jumped ahead of Luke Maile. Pilar is a threat to steal. He had 15 stolen bases last year.
Boy, he got a good jump, and they call a balk. It's not a stolen base, as Hamels was stepping toward home through to first after he saw Pilar break early, and it's a balk charge to Hamels.
That's exactly right. Cole saw that Kevin Pilar was going to go on his first movement. Sometimes you do that. You guess right. He picks up the front leg. There he goes, and he actually started bending backwards like he was going home. And that's where the balk comes into. It doesn't matter. Pilar's in scoring position.
That's just the 12th balk charge to Cole Hamels in his career. First balk since 2016. He had 1 that year in 32 starts. But Pilar picked a good pitch to run on. Hamels was looking at him, and he was in between. 1-2 to Maile. Maile, aware that Hamels has used that changeup effectively, looked like he was looking for that changeup. Hamels brushed him back with that fastball.
Surprised him. He was looking out and leaning out over the plate on that last pitch, and he stood him up. Got to take advantage of that error, that leadoff error, and now the balk.
We mentioned the farm report as we looked in on New Hampshire. If you're wondering about AAA Buffalo, they've been snowed out again. 3 straight times they have not been able to play. They were scheduled to start on Friday, but they're in Rochester and it's snowing, and that game has been postponed. Maile shoots it down the right side. That's a fair ball. Pilar's going to come around to score. Maile is headed for second, and Luke will pick up his 4th RBI of the season. He is 3 for 3 batting with runners in scoring position.
He's got 3 doubles now, and if you read bats, and if you could read his bat, you could tell that he was looking for that ball away. And Cole Hamels obliges by throwing the ball down and away, and he doesn't try to hit a ground ball to the left side. He stays with it. That's a great two-strike approach. Let that ball get a little bit deep. You can keep the ball fair down the right field line. That hit will send Cole Hamels to the bench, and the Blue Jays do cash in on that leadoff error.
Cole Hamels gave up 4 in the first inning. Blue Jays have a run here in the 6th. It's 6-1. Chris Martin will come in to face the number 9 hitter, Ledmus Diaz, when we come back to Arlington. In his 6th game of the season, he spent the last 2 seasons in Japan pitching for the Nippon Ham Fighters in the Japanese Nippon Professional League.
He's an Arlington native. Graduated from Arlington High School in 2004. That's only 4.5 miles from this ballpark, and he finally made it back here. The big right-hander, you mentioned he was there for 2 years in Japan, and he's come back and he's got a good arm. He's 6'8". So he creates a great downward plane with his fastball, cutter, combination, a little bit of a slider and a changeup. And he's made this team out of spring training. He's done a good job for him.
Ledmus Diaz is 0 for 2 so far. Luke Bailey's at second. Fouled off on the first pitch. The Rangers have a history of re-signing players from Japan. Kobe Lewis came back from Japan after pitching over there, and he had a terrific run in 2008-2009 pitching for the Hiroshima Carp. And he came back and became a very good pitcher for Texas in his 2nd stint with her.
Very good starter. Martin's a reliever. Last time we saw him, he was with the Yankees.
Curtis Granderson has grabbed the bat. He's out on deck, and he will bat for Steve Pearce in the leadoff spot. Diaz strikes out on a high fastball, 93 miles an hour.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That is AT&T Stadium right next door to where we are at Globe Life Park. That's where the Cowboys play. And it is a gorgeous football facility. We have a pinch hitter. We mentioned Curtis Granderson. Granderson is 1 for 1 as a pinch hitter this season. He's batting for Steve Pearce. What's the guy got to do to stay in the lineup? Pearce hit a home run on the first pitch of the ball game in a 4-run first inning, but Granderson hasn't played for a while because they're left-handed pitchers, and he's going to play in Baltimore.
Yeah, we're going to see all right-handed pitching in Baltimore, so Grandy gets a chance here to drive in a run. John Gibbons has been very consistent when it comes to those two in the outfield.
There's a little looper. That's going to drop for a base hit. Maley is around third. He's going to score. Curtis Granderson now 2 for 2 as a pinch hitter and picks up an RBI.
Chris Martin likes to elevate that fastball. He got the strikeout of Diaz with an elevated fastball, but against Granderson, he can wait a long time and still catch up to that fastball, which he does there. Just fights it off of him. Drops it into center field. He will pick up an RBI. What an approach at the plate.
Well, Curtis is a veteran, obviously, and that extends his personal hit streak to 4 in a row. 7-1 Blue Jays. Josh Donaldson is over 3. He's been called out on strikes twice so far this afternoon. Blue Jays looking to go 6-4 in the early going. Also trying to win the series.
That's what you want to do early in the season. You know, you don't have to have some unbelievable winning streak in April. Just win series. Try to be consistent. Get consistent pitching, consistent hitting, catch the ball on defense, sort out your bullpen, and just try and win series early on.
Marcus giving hitting lessons. Ball and a strike to Donaldson.
Looked more like how to get hit by a pitch. Throwing the elbow out there.
Marco Estrada picked up his first win of the season here on Friday night. Allowed a run on 5 hits over 6 innings and had 7 strikeouts. Jay Happ will open up the series in Baltimore tomorrow night. Happ and Estrada spent a lot of time together. They're always hanging around, working out together, throwing on the field, talking about pitching.
That's why they both like it here in Toronto. Love playing for the Blue Jays.
Full count. So Granderson, the pinch hitter, will be moving on the pitch. There are 2 away. Chris Martin in relief of Cole Hamels. Hamels went 5 1/3. He's charged with all 7 runs. There goes Granderson. Donaldson slaps it to the right side. Profar is there. That'll end the inning. So Martin comes in and gets a strikeout, gives up an RBI single. And the Blue Jays have a 7-1 lead. Curtis Granderson delivering the pinch RBI single.
roster for your chance to win the ultimate grand prize, an all-new 2019 Ram 1500 plus $25,000 in cash. Enter the Sportsnet Fantasy Hockey Pool Playoffs Edition now.
But you can't pick that team, the Quebec Nordique. Dallas Stars jersey as well. And Texas Ranger fans, the youngsters having a good time here at the old ballpark. Texas, with just a run on 3 hits, as Jaime Garcia has been top of his game.
Early curveball again. Facing a hot hitter in Elvis Andrews. Got a 14-game hit streak versus the Blue Jays.
He's hitting over 500 this season, batting here at home. Curtis Granderson, the pinch hitter, is now playing in left field, taking over for Steve Pearce. We had mentioned that the Blue Jays used 10 different pitchers in the 5th spot in the rotation last year for a total of 63 starts. Jaime Garcia is filling that spot in the rotation and doing a good job in his first 2 starts.
Yes, he has. He's given them innings, 6 innings in that first start. He's working into the 6th inning this afternoon. Makes the job of the manager, makes it so much easier. You give him 6 or 7 innings, he can finish off the game using 1 or 2 pitchers. Save your bullets, if you will, for the next game.
The Blue Jays list of starters that pitched in the 5th spot was a who's who of a lot of minor leaguers. No problem for Kevin Pillar. A high, lazy fly ball into center. 1 out. Speaking of those 10 starters, let's take a look at the pitchers that pitched in the 5th spot last year. 63 starts. Liriano and Biagini each made 18 starts, but after that, they were just grasping at straws.
Yeah, they were trying to build some depth within the organization, so they were trying everybody. Tom Kohler got a start. Casey Lawrence is now pitching in the Seattle organizations out of 2. Chris Rowley, Cesar Valdez, Nick Tepish, and Matt Latos all had 3. So, tell you what, it was mix and match. There were some injuries. Sanchez had an injury last year where they had to find some more starters. But you're right, the 5th spot last year was really a tough spot for the Blue Jays.
Tyler Clippard loosening up, and Clippard had a good inning in the 7th last night. 3 up, 3 down, 3 fly ball outs to center. So he's the first up here this afternoon for the Blue Jays. Inside, 2-1 to Beltran. Rangers have just 3 hits. 2 of them came in the 1st inning. Ruiz double in the 2nd, the last Ranger hit. Pulled foul wide of 3rd.
That looked like it might have been his cutter right there. It looks like a fastball coming in. And as you start your swing, the ball cuts and moves just a little bit closer to your body. Tough to keep that ball fair.
Tampa Bay Rays, they have not had any luck at all. They won their opening game. They have not won since, and they had a big lead, but Boston has scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning to take an 8-7 lead. Beltre hits it to the alley, and Pillar got a shallow route, and it's over his head.
You know, I think he was watching the swing of Adrian Beltre. It was a sinker down and away, and the swing from Beltre suggested that he hit it off the end of the bat, and Kevin was going to have to come in. But he got all of it. Watch where this pitch is. He goes down and gets it. Looks like it's off the end of the bat. That's what Kevin Pillar was reading, and he came in and then had to go back, so it's another extra base hit for Beltre.
For Beltre, that's his 5th double of the season, and he's moving up on the all-time 3rd baseman list for extra base hits. He's now just 2 behind the Hall of Famer George Brett, and that is an impressive 5-man list.
All in the Hall of Fame. And 5 years after Adrian Beltre retires, he'll be in the Hall of Fame also. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt.
No question about it. Terrific player, a terrific teammate, and a great citizen. Joey Gallo has flied out twice to center field. Jaime Garcia has now thrown 93 pitches, so he's getting near the end of the line here this afternoon, just his second start of the season.
He's given them the lead into the 6th inning. You'd love to see him finish this inning off so the reliever can start the inning fresh.
Gallo with the count in his favor, 2-0. Garcia's had confidence in his breaking ball all afternoon. Gets a strike there. Long, deep drive. If it's fair, it's gone, and it is way gone. Back up onto the walkway, the concourse behind the foul pole for Gallo. His 3rd home run of the season, a 2-run shot here in the 6th.
They moved him down in the lineup to give him a chance to have some better at-bats. And last night he had a 2-run double in a Ranger win this afternoon. Joey Gallo with home run number 3, and that was a no-doubter to right field.
And that's going to be the end of the afternoon for Jaime Garcia. Gallo, a 2-run home run, gives him 8 RBIs on the season, and that knocks Jaime Garcia out of the game, but he leaves in line for the win. Tyler Clippard coming on to face Robinson Chirinos when we come back. With Pete Walker, the pitching coach, and he was good, very good early in this ball game. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. He home run to Gallo. Out of 3 runs, he surrendered, but he leaves with a 4-run lead. Turns things over to the bullpen. 96 pitches thrown on the afternoon by Jaime Garcia.
Did his job and gave up a rare home run to a left-handed batter, so he'll turn it over to Tyler Clippard. Tyler pitched in last night's game, faced 3 left-handers and gave up 3 lazy fly balls to center field. His changeup and his splitter have worked very well against the left-handers early on in this season. Now he gets a right-hander in Chirinos.
The bullpen for the Blue Jays in last night's game retired the final 10 Rangers to come to the plate. 2-0 to Chirinos. Bartolo Colon, who has made a start for the Rangers, now loosening up in their bullpen. Martin Perez was activated and Cologne lost his spot in the rotation. And now Clippard falls behind 3-0.
Very effective yesterday. Pounded that strike zone in the game yesterday. Right-handers have one hit against him this year, and that was a home run.
A 4-pitch walk to the first man at Clippard face. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got another update. Well, they certainly have won 8 in a row, and you could look at the teams they play and kind of look at it with a jaundiced eye because they played Miami and Tampa Bay so far, but they're getting good pitching, they're getting some time in the hitting, and obviously when you score 6 runs in the 8th, you've got some good offense.
That's exactly how they lost their only game of the year. Tampa Bay dropped a 6th spot on them in the bottom of the 8th inning at Tropicana Field.
Ryder Clippard gets ahead of Jurickson Profar. Profar is 0 for 1 with a walk. One out, man at first. Ground ball, Smoke grabs it at foul ground.
He can handle those left-handed hitters like he did in last night's game. Faced 3 lefties and had 3 fly ball outs because his changeup is so good and his split has been good. Not afraid to throw it to the lefties. He gets good movement on it, keeps the ball down. Really upsets the timing of those left-handed hitters.
Lefties are 1 for 10 against Clippard so far this season.
There's that splitter. He offsets it to get a grip in between his fingers. He can really spread his fingers wide, can he?
Yes, he really has developed that split finger pitch very effectively. And as we mentioned the other night, he throws it by gripping the baseball on the seams, which is kind of unusual for a split finger pitch. There's Aaron Loop loosening up.
Not a bad idea. That was designed, by design, that high fastball.
I mentioned Clippard had a very good 7th inning last night. He had Mazzara, Gallo, and Profar. They all flied out to center field in a 1-2-3 7th. Clippard could throw that changeup at will for a strike.
If he does, I'd like to see him get it down. He'll get a strikeout or a ground ball if he gets that changeup in a good spot. He has pitched a long time in the big leagues, so these types of situations are not going to upset him.
One and 2 to Profar. Bailey looks like he hit the batter as he came out of the chute trying to pick off the runner at first, and Profar had stepped back in the batter's box, and Bailey, I think his arm hit Profar. Lucky that ball didn't go wild down the right field line.
Yeah, we've seen that enough against the Texas Rangers.
Profar's hanging tough against Clippard. We mentioned only 1 hit by a left-handed batter against Clippard so far this season. They're 1 for 10. That was a home run by Yomer Sanchez back at Rogers Center.
He's only given up 2 hits this year. Home run to Stanton and a home run to Sanchez.
Fly ball, Granderson coming in, still coming in. He gets there and makes the catch. 2 away now. The Blue Jays bullpen has surrendered 5 home runs. It's a bit of a concern, but as we mentioned last night, they retired the final 10 batters they faced in the game. Brian Rua is 1 for 2. He has one of the 5 Ranger hits this afternoon.
You know, if you're the manager of the Texas Rangers, Jeff Bannister, you got to use your bench very meticulously because they only have 3 hitters on that bench. I think this is a big at bat because if Rua gets on, we might see one of them there.
Got Mazzara, the right fielder, on the bench.
He might elect to try to get him in the game. One pop, a 3-run home run would make it a 1-run game if Rua gets on. So big at bat for Tyler Clipper to retire Rua.
Carlos Tochi got a start in center field. He's making just his 3rd start in center. 0-2 to Rua. Cut on and missed. Clipper strikes him out. He comes in, walks a batter, gets 2 outs to end the 6th. We'll go to the 7th. The Blue Jays still hold on to their 7-3 lead. Four runs on 4 hits in the first inning, including 2 home runs. He goes 5 1/3. Those 98 pitches, charged with 5 earned runs, gave up 7 runs overall. 2 errors committed behind him by the shortstop Elvis Andrews. Hamels walked 2, struck out 5, and now he turns things over to Bartolo Colon.
He's had 1 start, and it was probably the best start for the Texas Rangers so far this season, through 6 innings in that game. Had 6 strikeouts, and now he's been moved to the bullpen, and it's always a pleasure to watch him pitch. He just basically does it with 1 pitch. He just a well-placed fastball on the corners and just comes right after you.
This is just his 10th relief appearance of his career. His 539th ball game. And he throws fastballs.
Yeah. They're not as fast as they were when he first came up. I mean, when he first came up with the Cleveland Indians, I mean, it was upwards to about 100 miles an hour with a hard breaking ball. And now as he's gotten older, he just takes a little something off of his fastball, changes speeds with it, sinks it, and he's got impeccable command and control with it.
Colon is 44 years old. He'll turn 45 on the 24th of May. He's in his 21st season in the majors. He has 240 career wins. Off the end of the bat, Gallo has it. Cologne is there, and Smokes retired. And you can hear the reception for Cologne. He has a lot of fun pitching, and the fans have a lot of fun watching him pitch.
Yeah, and wherever he goes, the fans really appreciate the effort and the ability. Watch him still. He's been doing this for a long, long time. Getting over there, takes a good route, and finishes it off. I mean, between he and Beltre, who has more fun playing the game of baseball?
That's the way it should be played, with a lot of joy. It's the first relief appearance for Cologne since April 3rd, 2016, while pitching for the Mets.
He's had 9 relief appearances in his career. 27 strikeouts and 4 walks. Pretty impressive.
Solarte has had a good series. He's walked twice again this afternoon. He had a walk last night and 3 walks in the series opener on Friday. 6 base on balls in the series. He's homered on Friday, and he has a hit here this afternoon. Cologne has pitched for 11 different ball clubs. He first came to the majors, as Pat mentioned, with the Cleveland Indians in 1997. He has pitched with Cleveland, the Angels, the Mets, the A's, the White Sox, the Twins, the Braves, the Red Sox, the Rangers, Montreal, and the New York Yankees.
Won a Cy Young when he was with the Angels. I don't know, 3 or 4 times I thought his career was over, and he has just resurrected himself, and he just comes in and just keeps doing this, just keeps pounding that strike zone with his fastball.
Well, again, it's a study in how simple pitching can be. Move the ball around, change speeds, create a little movement, and you can be effective. Off the end of the bat, sneaks through for a base hit for Solarte. He's been on base all 4 times he's came to the plate. Drive of the game brought to you by the powerful 2018 Civic Type R.
Let's go back to the first inning with a couple of runners on base. Kendrys Morales is going to face Cole Hamels and send this ball over the wall in right field for his first home run of the season and double his RBI output of the season. 3-run home run gives him 6. He heads around the bases. The Blue Jays would score 4 runs in that first inning. 3 of them on this afternoon's drive of the game.
Kendrys Morales, 2 for 3. Solarte's been on base 9 times in this series. And did he jam his hand?
He's not very far off the base, and when Cologne threw over there, he fell down on the base. Again, he doesn't have a real big lead, and there's the throw over. And it came in hard.
Looking at his right hand, he jammed it hard against that first base bag.
Not really a threat to steal, I don't think, in this situation. He was 3 for 3 last year in stolen bases. And he does not have a real big lead over there.
Blue Jays lead at 7-3, trying to win this series 2-1. Blue Jays won the opener 8-5 on Friday night, lost 5-1 to Mike Minor and the Rangers last night. Jaime Garcia looking for his first win as a Blue Jay. Morales hits it off the end of the bat. Cologne has pitched so long. Ichiro Suzuki has 117 at-bats against him.
He came into the league before Ichiro even came over here.
That's the most at-bats against one batter by Cologne. Adrian Beltre, his teammate, has 78 at-bats. That's the second most. But you look at the games started by active pitchers, he is ahead of C.C. Sabathia. Justin Verlander, a distant third. Greinke and Hernandez.
There isn't too many players left who played in the 90s.
Brown is caught looking at that fastball. He strikes out for a second time.
Does that better than anybody in baseball right now. That fastball against a left-hander, you can't give up on it because watch the movement. Right back over the plate for the strikeout. He gets great movement with his fastball and he changes speeds with it. Just can't pull the trigger.
Kevin Pillar is 1 for 3. He has driven in a run and scored a run, reached on an error in the 6th. Pillar is 6 for 10 with a home run against Cologne. He's had some good at-bats against Bartolo.
Well, he knows he's going to get a fastball. Just is it going to be inside or is it going to be outside? Outside this time.
Back and forth, just adding and subtracting, creating that two-seam movement. When he was in his prime, he threw 95, 96 miles an hour and still used the same approach.
He had a hard breaking ball when he first came up also. This shows you the value. Look at that paint right on the outside corner. He and his teammate Adrian Beltre, the only active major league players who have appeared in 20 seasons in the big leagues. I bet you they've got some stories to tell on the team bus. Huh?
Pillar strikes out. Cologne comes out of the bullpen and records a couple of strikeouts. He's still doing it at 44 years old. Bartolo Colon. In any form. and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. That is the Texas School Book Depository in downtown Dallas. Of course, that is where the assassination of John F. Kennedy took place. Lee Harvey Oswald was in that school book depository. And a very historic place. And when you go there and look at that setting, it's very eerie.
It's very eerie. Standing on that road or standing on the grassy knoll area, it's very eerie.
Aaron Loup into the ball game, making his 5th appearance of the season. And Loup has been hit around a little bit in the early going. Opponent's hitting .357 against Loup.
Yeah, he picked up Marco Estrada on Friday night after Marco gave up a run in 6 innings. Aaron was only able to go 1/3 of an inning. He was charged with 3 runs. His job was to shut down the lefties, and they got him for 3 hits in that inning. So now he will turn around and face a right-hander. He's had a lot better success against right-handed batters this season. Just 2 for 11 against right-handers this year.
In that ballgame on Friday, Loup gave up a double to Rougned Odor, a single to Drew Robinson, and an RBI double to Shin-Soo Choo. Carlos Tochi, the center fielder and number 9 hitter. He has walked and struck out. Tyler Clippard recording 2 outs. He walked the first batter he faced, but then got Profar to fly out and struck out Ruan.
Yeah, you would figure they would just bring in Clippard to finish off the inning because he threw in last night's games. So you bring him in, get a couple of outs. His day is done. He had a walk and a strikeout.
Ryan Tepera loosening up in support of Aaron Loup. Tepera is also a native Texan, so he's got family and friends here in Arlington. Lined into center. It's going to get down in front of Pilar as Tochi has his first hit. His first big league hit, and everybody in the Ranger dugout making note of it. They want the baseball. His first big league hit comes as a leadoff single here in the 7th. Steve Buechele, the first base coach, flips the ball to the bat boy, and they will save that for Tochi.
Nothing like your first big league hit. Spent some time in Double-A last year. Looked like a slider from Aaron. Tried to bury that ball in, and it caught too much of the plate.
Back to the top of the order. We mentioned Choo had an RBI double to the base of the wall in left field against Loup on Friday night.
That pitch was called a ball. It looked like he snuck a fastball by Choo, but didn't get the call.
Breaking ball bounced to a smoke. He goes to second and just in time. Good play by Diaz. He stretched like a first baseman and took the short hop throw. I'm sure the Rangers are going to take a look at the replay here just in case they want to appeal.
2 thoughts, first of all, on that play. I don't think Smoke could have caught the ball, spun all the way around, and got the runner at first base. Choo runs too well. Aaron Loop's going to fall off of the mound. That's the first thing. His only play was at second base. Watch Diaz stretch and pick that ball and keep that foot right on the bag to get the force out. A little bit of a throw where he's throwing on the run, and his teammate picks him up with a great play around the bag.
Good stretch by Diaz. Gets the force out. 1 away now for Rougned Odor. Odor was batting in the 7th spot on Friday, and he doubled off of Aaron Loup, the first batter Loup faced coming into that game.
Got one thing on his mind right now against the left-hander, trying to hook the ball out of here. You can see from that swing what he's thinking about.
Pitch was about a foot outside. Got an aggressive hitter like Odor. Have to really attack the strike zone.
And with the left-hander on the mound now, it looked like Diaz shaded the other way just a little bit.
Fair ball down the left field line. Chu, is headed to third, and Odor has another double. For Odor, it's his second double of the season. Both have been off Aaron Luke. That was a C&I double down the left field line. He got jammed and was just able to keep it fair.
I think Diaz picked up on it, the shortstop, that he was going to hold on that ball just a little bit longer. He couldn't roll it down the line any better. A slider down and away. He's trying to still hook the ball. Gets the bat head out, hits it right off the end of the bat. And with the Blue Jays in the shift, he gets himself a double.
So Loop is out, Tepera is in. The red-hot Elvis Andrus, already 1 for 3 this afternoon, will be the batter. Gets just one out on the fielder's choice, and Brian Tepera is in to face Elvis Andrus for Tepera. This is his 6th appearance and his 2nd in the series.
This is a lot like Friday's game, where the Blue Jays jumped out ahead and the Texas Rangers came clawing back. Ryan was able to pitch in that game an inning, had a hit and a strikeout. Andrus has never faced Tepera before. First matchup between these two.
First pitch is down and away for ball 1. The Rangers shortstop is 1 for 3 and an RBI single in the first inning, his 6th hit in the 3-game series.
They bring in Tepera with the great arm and the experience. Had a great season last year for the Blue Jays. John Gibbons had him up and warming. If Aaron Luke got into trouble, he wanted to have him ready to face the 2 best hitters that the Rangers have to offer, in Andrus and Beltre.
A 1-1 count on Elvis Andrus. Breaking ball off the plate outside. It's 2-1. Now 3-1. Jaime Garcia started. Tyler Clippard closed out for 6th.
Luke
got just one out here in the 7th. And now Ryan Tepera working to Elvis Andrews. That'll load the bases, ball 4.
Well, the good news is he sets up a double play, and the Rangers, only the White Sox and Yankees have grounded into more double plays than the Rangers. That's the good news. The bad news is the tying run comes to the plate.
Adrian Beltre doubled to deep right center his last time up. His 5th double of the season, and Luke Maile is going to spend a trip to the mound here.
Yeah, I think this is about the signs, changing the signs with the runner at second base now. Odor's been out there for a full batter, so he's had a chance to take a look at their signs. So good move here to go out there and change things up.
Odor's at second, and he has his 2nd double of the series. Choose at first. He reached on a fielder's choice. Andrews at first walk. Bases loaded for Adrian Beltre. What's wrong with that pitch? Looks like it caught the bottom of the strike zone, but it's ball 1. The dangerous Joey Gallo is on deck. One and one now.
Tell you, Ryan is airing it out right now. His fastball, it's got some pop on it.
Pulled that ball down and away. It was 96, but out of the strike zone.
Looking for the ground ball. I think any ground ball to an infielder and they can get out of this inning.
Fly ball slicing towards the seats. It'll be back out of play.
Boy, he's such a good hitter, Beltre. You can see what he's trying to do there. He hits from a closed off stance, and he is looking for anything out over the plate. He's had great power the other way throughout his career. And watching him hit right now, it's like he's basically closed off the left side of the field.
Off the plate outside. Beltre is 4 for 7 in the series. He didn't play in yesterday's game. So the bases are loaded. Since you choose at third, Rougned Odor doubled. He's at second, and Elvis Andrews walked. He's at first for Beltre, who has 10 career grand slams. Tepera looking for a ground ball. Swung on and missed. Tepera used that slider for a big strikeout.
Not out of the woods yet. He throws the first pitch for that strikeout. It's a big out, but now you got to face another home run hitter in Joey Gallo. This is what he did his last time up. Deep to right field. That 2-run home run off of Jaime Garcia made it 7-3. And again, representing the tying run.
Tepera is making just his 3rd appearance in this ballpark. Gallo is 1 for 1 going up against Ryan. Home run cut, foul back. That's the best fastball Tepera has thrown this inning.
Yeah, he's loose. 97 with that fastball. Against Gallo, I think you can climb the ladder with a good fastball, meaning going up. Each pitch, each fastball going a little bit higher in the strike zone, and you can get a pop-up or a strikeout.
The Blue Jays have a 7-3 lead. But the bases are loaded with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Slider fouled off. Boy, if there was ever time to elevate a fastball, it's right now.
This is it right here. And if you're going to elevate it, I'd go up and away also. So if you miss your spot, he'll just hit an easy fly ball to the outfield. Sometimes if you miss your spot up and in, he can get the barrel to the baseball and still hook it fair.
High fastball popped up a mile high. Smoke gives way to Maley, who stays with it, and the inning is over. Gallo had a home run cut, but Ryan Tepera does a terrific job. He inherits 2 runners and gets out of it with a strikeout and a pop-up.
To get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Ryan Tepera inheriting base runners for the first time this season. He inherited a 2nd and 3rd situation. He walked Andrews to load the bases, but then struck out Beltre and got Joey Gallo to pop up to end the inning and end the trend.
3 best hitters he had to shut down with the bases loaded, and he comes through once again. Good job.
Randall Grichuk will lead things off for the Blue Jays. 7, 8, 9 in the Blue Jays batting order. Grichuk is 0 for 3. Colon in his 2nd inning of relief. He came into the ballgame in the 7th, gave up a 1-out single to Solarte, and then struck out Morales and Pilar to end the inning.
They are carrying 2 long men in their bullpen, the Texas Rangers, this year. Their starters are not giving them enough innings. They came into this game with the 4th most relief innings. And it's just Chavez, the other long reliever that they are carrying. 4th most relief innings in Major League Baseball.
Grichuk strikes out for a 2nd time. 3rd strikeout for Colon. Just a simple approach, moving that fastball around.
Yeah, 3 in a row now, strikeouts for Bartolo Colon. Like he might have cut that ball just a little bit, but it's the location that's impressive.
Luke Maley had a big hit his last time up. A 2-strike RBI double down the right field line all the way into the corner. That drove home Kevin Pilar with the 6th run of the game.
If you try and pull Bartolo Colon, you're going to ground out the shortstop. I think you got to set your sights on hitting the ball back through the middle or the other way.
The Rangers are going to have to make a decision with their pitching staff here in the next couple of days. Tony Barnett is ready to come off the disabled list. He pitched on Friday and Saturday in the minors. That foul tip got Chirinos right on the right shoulder.
Tell you what, if I'm the Texas Rangers, I'm not getting rid of Bartolo Colon. He's not one of the guys I'm sending down. I think he just brings too much to your team. He can still pitch, obviously. He's now in the bullpen for the second time in his career. He can pitch, and he brings a lot to this team. You don't think some of these young pitchers can learn something from him?
Great teammate, good guy to have on your ball club if you can afford to carry him as an extra long man. And there's an off-speed pitch. Took something off that fastball and got good movement. How about 4 strikeouts in a row for the 44-year-old Colon?
Second oldest Texas Ranger pitcher of all time behind Nolan Ryan. And he's pitching like Nolan Ryan today. 4 straight strikeouts. Took a little something off of that one.
But Miss Diaz, he's 0 for 3. Goes after the first pitch. Hits it to Beltre. Another easy inning for Colon. He retires his side in order with a couple of strikeouts. He struck out 4 since coming into the game. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio. Globe Life Park here in Arlington. The concessions, and they have quite an assortment. That is what they call the boomstick. It costs $26. It's 2 feet long. It includes onions, chili, and nacho cheese, and jalapenos, of course.
Onions. Ugh. Well, what do they say in Texas? Everything's bigger in Texas?
Well, you have some family history with one of those boomsticks.
Yeah, my son came here a couple of years ago and had one of those. Ate the whole thing all by himself. I didn't see him for a couple of days.
I'm sure you did. Wow, a boomstick. You mean a small company of armed forces people eat that thing? That is a big snack. Ryan Tepera back out to work here. He got 2 outs to close out the Rangers in the 7th. San Juan O loosening up, and you can see Osuna behind him, just going through his warm-up ritual. Tepera used that slider to strike out Adrian Beltre.
He waited for the exact perfect time to use it. He pumped fastballs until he got to 3-2 and then spun that slider to pick up a big strikeout. The challenge for Ryan this inning is to pump it back up You know, that was a very emotional inning to finish off that 7th inning. He did a heck of a job by getting Beltre and Gallo. He now has to crank it back up to start the 8th.
Two and two to the leadoff man here in the 8th. Robinson Chirinos outside of full count. The Blue Jays will go to Baltimore to play the Orioles in a 3-game series, and Baltimore is in New York, and they're in the bottom of the 12th inning. Baltimore has an 8-7 lead. The Orioles have used 6 relief pitchers today. And there's a leadoff walk. We'll be back in action tomorrow night from Baltimore. It all starts at 6:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Pacific Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle. The Blue Jays will be in Baltimore for 3. Jay Happ will open up the series against Dylan Bundy, the right-hander. Aaron Sanchez, Marco Estrada in games 2 and 3 in Baltimore. But it's interesting, the Orioles have played 2 extra inning games in the 3-game series, and their bullpen has been packed.
Yeah, was it yesterday they played 14 innings in New York, or was it the day before?
Friday, I think.
Okay. So you got to figure they're going to be making some changes to that bullpen when we get to town.
Richard Blyer pitched 3 innings of relief here, so he won't be available at least Monday, possibly Tuesday. Jerickson Profar, he is over 2 with a walk. Chirinos with the leadoff walk, his 2nd walk of the afternoon.
Walked last time, but was stranded over there by Tyler Clipper. Tell you what, you want to finish off this inning right here. You're at the bottom of the lineup for the Rangers. You don't want them turning this lineup over.
Very explosive team, top of the order. Nomar Mazar has grabbed a bat. He will bat for Ryan Rua, the left fielder. Mazar started the first 2 games of this series in right. Two and two. Off the plate, another full count, 2nd full count of the inning. The Rangers trying to scratch and claw their way back into this game here in the 8th. Profar chases that slider. Tepera gets the strikeout. His 2nd strikeout since coming into the game.
And another big one right there. He goes back to that slider that he needed a strikeout with. Profar a little anxious. Watch the movement that Ryan Tepera gets with that breaking ball. It looks like a strike, and then it falls off the plate. What an outing for Tepera.
So Tepera's out of the game. Sun Wan Oh will come in to face the pinch hitter, Nomar Mazara.
this season, 5 punch-outs. This is going to be the 4th reliever this afternoon for the Blue Jays. On 1-0 already in his 6th game. That's the team lead for the Blue Jays. 386 earned run average. He's also had 4 strikeouts to his credit. O has shown that he can go multiple innings, multiple batters. He's got a good breaking ball, and that might come into effect right here. He's probably going to face a couple of left-handed batters.
He's been effective against the lefties. They're just 1 for 9 so far against O. That's why John Gibbons went to the matchup once Mazara was announced into the game. Mazara is 0 for 7 in the series. Chirinos at first. First pitch strike. O retired Mazara on a fly ball in the 7th inning to end the 7th on Friday night. Splitter missed down and away. Ball and a strike.
Mazara, for a young player, and he's just 22 years old, shows a lot of patience at the plate. He will work the count. Not a free swinger by any means at the plate.
This is the first game that Mazara hasn't started. He jumps all over that one, but hits it foul into the seats.
He's 22 years old. He's already had a season where he drove in a run, 100 runs. Last year drove in over 100.
101 while he hit 253 with 20 home runs. He's had back-to-back 20 home run seasons. Was after that high fastball. Mazara has played in 145 games in 2016, 148 in 2017. And you're right, he's just 22 years old. He'll turn 23 later on this month. But he's off to a good start.
Yeah, and he's growing as a player and as a hitter. Look at that, how he takes that pitch. Always in a position to hit.
Just in case, Roberto Osuna has loosened up and he's standing by, ready. That's a long drive. It's hooking and gonna go foul.
Looks like he wants to try and get him out up in the strike zone. But if you're going to do that, I think you're going to have to go up and away. That's what happens right there when you try and come up and it's in. They can still get to it and pull it down the right field line. Fastball's up and away. Make him hit it to the biggest part of the ballpark.
Time had been granted. Mazara never came out of his batting stance. The umpire, Jim Reynolds, granted time. As O was very deliberate before he went into the pitch. 1-2. O is ahead of Mazara. Double play situation with Chirinos at first. Ground ball, base hit through the right side. Chirinos will stop at second. First and second, 1 out. Let's check in again with Jamie Campbell. Ohtani has been remarkable. Ohtani has thrown 75 pitches through 6 innings, hasn't walked a batter. No one has reached base, and he has 11 strikeouts.
Heard his splitter has been filthy this afternoon.
Eugene Ko is out with Pete Walker to interpret for O. Talking about the approach now. The pinch hitter has been announced into this ball game. Drew Robinson The second pinch hitter in a row will bat for Carlos Tochi, who started in center.
He can run a little bit, Ken Robinson, so it's going to be tough to double him up.
Robinson is 2 for 8 in the series. He had a pair of hits on Friday night, scored a run and drove in a run. Robinson for the season batting .261 with a homer and 3 RBIs. First pitch strike. This is the first pinch hitting at bat for Robinson this season.
Everybody on the infield has shortened up because he can run a little bit. Got to get it out, at least one somewhere. Can't lose him.
Alex Claudio loosening up. One of the 2 lefties the Rangers have in their pen. Ball and a strike to Drew Robinson. Now it's 2-1. Eighth inning, the Rangers mounting a comeback here. Brian Tepera started the inning. He walked the leadoff man Chirinos, then struck out Profile. There's strike 2. Mazzara came up as a pinch hitter. He singled to right, chasing Chirinos to second. And now the second consecutive pinch hitter, Drew Robinson, with a 2-2 count. Popped him up on the infield. Infield fly rule in effect. The catch is made, 2 away.
That whole at bat and that out was set up by the 2 fastballs that he threw to Robinson. He threw him that splitter and he was out in front.
The right fielder, Sin-Soo Choo. He has doubled in 4 at bats.
He was guessing fastball first pitch and didn't get it.
Mainly thought about a throw to second, but Diaz wasn't behind the base. Breaking ball right at the top of the zone.
Choo's always had a great eye. Thought that ball was up. Very difficult to figure out how you're going to get him out now. Maybe he's going to throw him that splitter. Keep it down.
Oh, and Choo, both from South Korea, facing each other. Two balls and 2 strikes, 2 away. Breaking ball up the middle, base hit. Chirinos is being waved around third. He's going to score. Mazzara goes first to third as Choo picks up his second hit of the game. And that'll bring the tying run to the plate.
And that's going to bring in Roberto Osuna into the game. They're going to stretch him out to try and save it right here. Oh, threw another one of those floating breaking balls, and Choo is such a good 2-strike hitter. Sent it right back through the middle. Can't finish off this inning. And the closer's got to try and stretch out today.
Oh is out. Odor's the scheduled batter. Roberto Osuna trying to come in and pick up the save. 15. Osuna is tied with Zach Britton and Cody Allen for the most saves in the American League.
Yeah, put him in there in any role, he's going to give you a great effort. This is a save situation, even though it's the 8th inning. Tying run's going to come to the plate. They're going to have to extend him this afternoon. And, you know, you said it the other day, it seems like Andrews and Beltre are up every inning, and they're lurking right now for Osuna. There are his numbers this year, 3 for 3 in saves already. He's only thrown 4 innings.
Fernando Odor with runners at the corners. Odor representing the tying run. And Osuna gets ahead of it.
Hit him.
Hit him in the jersey. I mean, just brushed his jersey and he goes to first base. So the bases are loaded. Again, the Rangers stranded the bases loaded last inning. And they have them loaded again for their hottest hitter.
And look how they have loaded him up. This one, how much of an effort as he bends away from that one, just clips him into jersey. A walk, a hit batter, a couple of singles. And now the tying run's aboard and the go-ahead run is at the plate.
Elvis Andrews is 1 for 3 this afternoon, and he waves at that first pitch breaking ball.
Same situation last inning. Andrews, Beltre having to deal with the bases loaded.
Tepera came in to pitch to Andrews and he walked, and then Beltre struck out and Gallo popped out to end the inning. Osuna's ahead. 0-2. Look at the 2 pitches.
Yeah, both of them 95 miles an hour on the outside corner.
Don't let him off the hook. Fastball. Another great fastball. Toughest pitch in my mind for a batter 0-2 is that fastball down and away. It's a hard one to commit to.
You got to use your legs to go out there and get it. You're protecting the plate if you've got 2 strikes, but you're right, there's not a whole lot you can do with it. The thing you got to guard against, though, is the ball off the end of the bat where a lazy broken back single into the outfield. But you're right, it's a tough pitch for a hitter to try and do anything with.
0-2. Inside check swing tapper, and Osuna will flip to Smoke to end the inning. Roberto Osuna strands the bases loaded. Gets the hottest hitter, Elvis Andrews, to tap back to the mound. Osuna looking for his 4th save of the season.
From Saskatchewan, Humboldt Strong. Live coverage of the vigil for the victims of Friday's bus crash, hosted by Martine Guyard and Darren Millard, with Ron McLean and Don Cherry in Humboldt. Catch it at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on Sportsnet West, Pacific, and Sportsnet 1. Buck.
Well, certainly something that a lot of people will be watching, and we will have our thoughts and prayers with those people in Humboldt, Saskatchewan. We're in the 9th inning. Alex Claudio makes his second appearance of the series, his 5th of the season.
What a job by Bartolo Colon. 2 innings, 4 strikeouts, just a scratch hit. So they take him out of the ball game and they bring in their closer, Claudio, to get some work.
Omar Mazzara, the regular right fielder, is in left. Drew Robinson is in center, and Drew started in right. The DH is the second baseman, Odor. Curtis Granderson had an RBI pinch single in the 6th. Claudio, a finesse artist. Changeup, he turns over, slow breaking ball down and away.
Yeah, versus left-handers is a little bit different. It's fastball slider for the most part against lefties, and fastball changeup to right-handed hitters.
Lined right to the second baseman.
So what you can do is you can wait a long time. You're not going to blow the ball by you. You can wait a long time at the plate to track the ball. That's what Curtis does, pitch over the middle of the plate, and he comes that close to picking up a second hit.
Josh Donaldson is 0 for 4 this afternoon. Up the middle, Andrews from behind second. What a play, but Gallo has to come off the bag. It'll be an infield hit for Donaldson. Andrews got to it, did a 360 from the outfield grass, but the throw was offline and Gallo came off the bag.
Great range by Andrews, the shortstop. It looked like it was tipped initially by Claudio, and that slowed it down somewhat. But if that ball is on line, he would have been out. But the Blue Jays trying to scratch out some insurance runs. Get an infield hit for Josh Donaldson.
Justin Smoke, 2 more hits this afternoon. Smoke is 12 for 29 in his last 8 games. He scored a pair of runs.
He likes all these left-handed pitchers that he has seen the last 3 days.
He waited on that breaking ball, but got it on that front foot. Driven down the right side, but that's going to slice foul. How about Bartolo Colon, as you mentioned, Pat? 2 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts to keep the Blue Jays in check. He pitched the 7th and 8th.
He looked very comfortable. That's why I thought they'd send him back out there. Again, what did they have to lose? He's already been stretched out as a starter.
Ground ball. Beltre second for 1, Profar to first, double play. So Claudio gets the inning-ending double play to end the top half of the 9th. When we come back, it'll be Beltre, Gallo, and Chirinos against Osuna.
Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Six Flags next door to this ballpark here in Arlington. The Blue Jays trying to win the series 2-1. They have a 7-4 lead. Roberto Osuna closed out the Rangers in the bottom of the 8th. He stranded the bases loaded. Osuna, for saves of more than an inning in his career, is 13 for 14. He is looking for his 99th career save, his 4th save of the season. Manfred gets beat by that fastball.
You know why he can do that? Because he doesn't mess around. Here's the fastball. Let's see if you can hit it. A lot of times when he comes in, his pitch count is so low because he attacks that strike zone.
Ground ball pulled to the shortstop. Diaz has it. He takes his time. Belcher's retired. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed. Certainly a very emotional evening ahead for everyone. Make sure you have a chance to watch that. One out. Gallo hits it high and deep to left field. Granderson into the corner. He's got room. He makes the catch. 2 quick outs here for Osuna here in the ninth.
Not a bad idea to just pitch fastballs up and away to Gallo. I told you earlier that the wind is knocking anything down in the outfield. And that ball, that's a long fly ball for out number 2. To the appreciation of his pitcher.
Again, Osuna has thrown 10 pitches, 9 strikes.
That's what I mean. If you're John Gibbons and the Blue Jays, you got to feel very comfortable about your closer extending to get a save.
There was a time when Roberto got a little bit cutter happy, but he's gone back to his fastball. And when you have the kind of command and the velocity that Osuna has, use it, and he has done a good job with it.
I think that's what sets him apart from other closers is, yeah, he's got the great arm, but he can really paint that ball on the corners.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. The Rangers down to their last out. Roberto has never allowed a run to the Rangers. Chirinos fouls it off. The Blue Jays looking to go 6-4 in their 10th game of the season. They didn't win their 6th game last year until the 20th game of the season. They got off to an 8-17 start. And John Gibbons was mindful of getting off to a good start this year. Roberto came into the game with 2 outs in the 8th. He hit the first batter he faced, Rougned Odor, but then got Elvis Andrews to tap weakly back to the mound. Cut on and missed, and that's the ball game. Chirinos strikes out. Osuna retires the side in order in the ninth to pick up his 4th save of the season. The Blue Jays win the series 2-1. Big first inning against Cole Hamels, the difference in this game today.
Yeah, he didn't have his A game in that first inning, and the Blue Jays jumped on top of him with a couple of home runs, 4-0, and Jaime Garcia and 5 relievers make it stand up and win the series. That's 2 series in a row that the Blue Jays have won.
Osuna picks up his 4th